I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch network. Let's talk about the sentencing coming up of this despicable insurrectionist, Garrett Miller, who is the face of the base of the modern day MAGA Republican Party. This is who they are. Leading up to the January 6th insurrection, on his calendar in the basement where he dwells, it said, January 6th, big day, wild, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Leading to the January 6th insurrection, his behavior mimicked that of his cult leaders, like Donald Trump, who would go out and call all of their political enemies globalists. Not even a dog whistle, it's a dog siren at this point. So right after the 2020 election in November, you've got this Garrett Miller starting to go on social media to threaten lawmakers. So this is what he posts on direct messages to Chuck Schumer, his Senate Majority Leader. He goes, "Hey, we're coming for you, Chuck." This was on November 7th of 2020. "Chuck, we got you. I celebrate it with family, without a mask, and with a loaded gun in my pocket, just in case you show up. God bless America, globalist coward." And by the way, this is the language that MAGA Republicans are using to attack their political enemies. It's, of course, tinged, intentionally so, with anti-Semitism, but there is a reason they use it to radicalize their terrorist cells, people like Garrett Miller. So leading up to the January 6th insurrection, Garrett Miller is attending these other events. He goes on November 14th, 2020, inspired by the MAGA Republicans, and he's posting about his travels there. By December 28th of 2020, Miller is going to all these rallies. He's going to all these rallies. He's going to one in Dalton, Georgia, for example. And then leading up to the insurrection, he's telling his friend what he's bringing. He goes, "I have a grappling hook and a rope and a level 3 vest, helmets, mouth guard, and bump cap." That's what he says. There are, of course, videos of him on January 6th approaching the northwest side of the Capitol grounds at approximately 1:45 p.m. He's actually detained on the east front of the Capitol around 2 p.m. The guards, the Capitol police officers, let him go. They detained him for a short period of time. He begged and said, "Please let me go. I'm not a threat. Please let me go." So they actually released him. And what did he do? He immediately then ran into the Capitol building. He had at least 4 to 6 physical interactions with Capitol police officers in the rotunda. You could see here, for example, in the photo, him touching Capitol police officers in a way that he absolutely despicably should not be. There are screenshots of him there. He then leaves the Capitol building afterwards, and then again starts continuing to threaten lawmakers. For example, AOC writes on her Twitter account, "Impeach," because Donald Trump caused the January 6th insurrection. And then this Garrett Miller responds, "Assassinate AOC." That's what he writes. And then he continues to post on his Instagram account to his other insurrectionist buddies. He goes, "I think we will start assassinating. I think we will start assassinating." And then we have text messages that the government recovered of him bragging, "Dude, we terrified Congress." And he continued to post and post and post. This is the outfit that he was wearing when he was finally apprehended on January 20th. There's the photo of him again wearing the "Take America Back" t-shirt with Donald Trump on it, Donald Trump thumb. I mean, this is a death cult. This is a despicable death cult with incels like this MAGA Republican. I mean, this is beyond disgusting. But this is the base of MAGA Republicans doing this, wearing these cult shirts, speaking in their cult language. In fact, what the sentencing report also says is that when he went to some of these November 2020 events, he actually brought with him lots of weapons as well. He was actually arrested again fairly recently in Texas for unlawful possession of an AR-15, and the AR-15 was manipulated as well in kind of an unlawful way in terms of how it was calibrated. So he was arrested again because all these people are criminals. Like, they're constant criminals who just repeat offend. So the government seeking the max here on the sentencing guidelines, which is 48 months. We'll see what the judge ultimately sentences. It's Judge Carl Nichols. One thing that's very important, though, and why I want to also talk about this case, in addition to demonstrating the base of the modern day MAGA Republican Party, they are a party of Garrett Millers, right? I mean, you look at these rallies, you look at these events, they're all like Garrett Miller. This is who they are. And rather than be leaders, people like Trump and DeSantis or Nikki Haley and Sununu, all of them, they play to these people. Rather than saying, this is disgusting, that Garrett Miller is a piece of crap, that he is a traitor, that he's not even, not to even say the name patriot should never even be uttered out of the mouth of these disgusting traitors. But at the top, their leaders are traitors too. Their leaders are fascists. The MAGA Republican Party hates the United States of America. I just say it very, very clearly, very simply. MAGA Republicans hate America. They hate our Constitution. They hate our values. They love Vladimir Putin. They love Kim Jong-un. They love people like Garrett Miller. It's a weirdo fascist cult at the end of the day. Sorry, I digress there. One of the reasons I want to talk to you about this case, though, as well. So this is the case before a Trump-appointed judge, Judge Carl Nichols. You may remember this case because back in March or so of 2022, Judge Carl Nichols granted Garrett Miller's motion to dismiss on the obstruction of justice charges, the obstruction of official proceeding charges, rather. And that's 18 U.S.C. Section 1512, obstruction. And this is the statute that has been used by the Department of Justice to ensure that these insurrectionists get put away for far more than 48 months. And what the statute says, 18 U.S.C. Section 1512, this is obstruction, says, whoever corruptly, 1, alters, destroys, mutilates, or conceals a record, document, or other object, or attempts to do so with the intent to impair the object's integrity or availability for use in an official proceeding, or 2, otherwise obstructs, influences, or impedes any official proceeding or attempts to do so, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 20 years or both. Now, the Trump-appointed Judge Carl Nichols granted the motion to dismiss and said that for 18 U.S.C. Section 1512 to apply, the obstruction has to be relating to destroying official government documents. The statute says, or otherwise obstructs, influences, or impedes any official proceeding or attempts to do so. But Judge Nichols basically views C1, alters, destroys, mutilates, or conceals a record document, as being what the statute is really about. And because Garrett Miller didn't specifically destroy documents, Judge Carl Nichols dismissed that claim, leaving still 11 other charges, including 5 felonies, that Garrett Miller pled guilty to. Garrett Miller went to trial in December and then basically pled guilty to all of the charges right away. The Department of Justice has appealed Judge Carl Nichols' ruling on obstruction, the dismissal order. We are still waiting for a ruling on that. But mostly every other federal judge in the D.C. Circuit has not agreed with Judge Carl Nichols, the Trump appointee, his interpretation of it. If the Court of Appeals, though, rules in Judge Nichols' favor, and the Court of Appeals or the United States Supreme Court finds that obstruction doesn't apply, that takes away one of the major tools that the Department of Justice has to prosecute and convict these insurrectionists for significant periods of time. And to me, the statute's clear as day. So we wait for a ruling on obstruction. Nonetheless, in the meantime, Garrett Miller is going to be sentenced based on his guilty plea to the 11 criminal charges and 5 felony counts that he's pleading guilty for. We'll see the ruling from the Court of Appeals and ultimately the Supreme Court on the obstruction charge. But I wanted to share this with you about Garrett Miller because I want, again, to show you the face of who the MAGA Republican Party is today, who their base is, and how their words when they call people globalists and rhinos, and when they praise Ashley Babbitt, who was herself a traitor and someone who attacked the United States Capitol, who the Capitol Police conducted an investigation and said, but for the fact that she was stopped, it saved the lives of lawmakers. She was with people screaming, F the blue, F the blue, we're going to get you, F the blue, when they trespassed and invaded the United States Capitol building. When they talk about AOC, when they talk about Schumer, you know, the MAGA Republican Party at its leadership, frankly, is run by people like Garrett Miller. It's not even just the base. This is who they've become. It is really frightening. But we have to call them out. We have to show you these people because we are so much better as a country, we are, than Garrett Miller MAGA Republicans, George Santos MAGA Republicans, Andy freaking Ogles liar traitor MAGA Republicans, Donald Trump, Kerry Lake MAGA Republican, disgusting fascist traitors. We're so much better than that as a nation. And we need to be so loud and so proud about our democracy. And we need to call out these fascist traitors at each and every step. So again, just pull up this photo one more time of Garrett Miller. That is the modern day MAGA Republican Party. Pull up a photo of George Santos. That is the MAGA Republican of today. Pull up the photo of Donald Trump. That is the MAGA Republican Party of today. I could go on and do this all day, but you get the point. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 1 million subscribers thanks to your incredible support. So please hit subscribe right now. Also check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Patreon.com/MeidasTouch. It's free to subscribe to our YouTube, but you can become a member on our Patreon, which are paid memberships. But you get a lot of exclusive content, and that's how we grow this independent media platform. If you can do it, it's very, very helpful. Thank you so much. And again, hit subscribe.
MeidasTouch is unapologetically pro-democracy. And look, we know you are too. So please make sure you check out our best-selling shirt and our best-selling gear, the unapologetically pro-democracy gear. And hey, while you're at it, make sure you check out my favorite shirt and one of our most famous designs. It wasn't rigged, you're just a loser. At store.MeidasTouch.com. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.